Good afternoon, Jets Nation. Welcome to the Jet Show. And today we're going to be talking about how I think we adjusted the safety position. So without further ado, let's get it started. So safety was arguably the worst position for the Jets this season. I mean, not only were the players playing the position changing from week to week, anybody who played it just wasn't good. And our two projected starting safeties for the season were Marcus May and LaMarcus Jr., and both suffered season-ending injuries this year, and both are on expiring contracts, and I don't see the Jets bringing back any of them. So we're going to be in the market for two new safeties this year. So let's first off talk about guys we could sign in free agency. Marcus Williams is arguably the best safety in this year's free agency class, and he's one of the best coverage safeties in the NFL. And when I say he's good, I mean he's really good at what he does. I mean, most people know him from missing the tackle in the Minneapolis Miracle, but I mean, he's really not that bad of a tackler, and I mean, as I said, he's a lockdown safety. Now, the only drawback I could see with him is that he's going to be getting a lot of money because he is younger, and, you know, he's just really good. But, I mean, Joe Douglas, he needs to spend money this year, and if it means getting a top 10 safety in the NFL, then I mean, I'm all for it. And then how is his health? I mean, he's fairly healthy. He's not in perfect health. He's only played one full season in his NFL career, but he misses at least 1 or 2 games a season, but it's nothing crazy. And then you have Jesse Bates from the Cincinnati Bengals, who is an all-over-the-field type of player. From 2018 to 2020, Bates recorded over 100 tackles and 3 interceptions. Took a little bit of a step back this season, only had 88 tackles and 1 interception, but that's not a bad stat line compared to what other safeties in the NFL have been doing. I mean, that might have been a step back from his recent production, but that's still not a bad stat line. And if you look at what he's been doing in the playoffs, I mean, it's been super impressive. He's been one of the main reasons the Bengals are in the AFC Championship game, and he's also a pretty healthy player. He's only missed 2 games his entire career. He's definitely a top 10 safety in the NFL. I would even argue a top 5. But he's probably going to get franchise tagged, and that's the sad thing about it. But I mean, if somehow he escapes Cincinnati, then he'd be calling his agent right away. Then we have Tyrann Mathieu from the Kansas City Chiefs. He's been in the NFL for 9 years and has been really good every single season of his career. I mean, he's never really done anything too crazy. He never really has put up any crazy stat lines except for in 2020 whenever he had 6 interceptions. But I mean, he's just a really good player. He's super consistent, has been a top 10 safety pretty much every single year of his career. He's made an All-Pro team 3 times, has been selected to the Pro Bowl 3 times, and he's also pretty healthy. Has only missed 2 games since 2017. So if the New York Jets just want a consistent player, then go ahead and sign you Tyrann Mathieu. I mean, he's probably not going to get any better than what he is right now when all the guys on this list, or all the guys we've talked about so far, have bigger upside. But if you want a for sure top 10 safety, then just go out and sign it Tyrann Mathieu. But all those guys I just talked about are probably going to be getting pretty lengthy contracts. But if we wanted to go a more conservative route, we can go ahead and sign a guy like Quandre Diggs from the Seattle Seahawks. He's a playmaker. The last 2 seasons, he's had 5 interceptions and has been selected to the Pro Bowl. And he's a pretty healthy player. He's only missed 10 games in his 8-year career. We have Jordan Whitehead from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who kind of reminds me of Jamal Adams. I mean, he rushes the quarterback and is also pretty solid in coverage. Now, he doesn't put up Jamal Adams-like stats, but I mean, he's still a pretty solid, strong safety. Now, a little bit of a drawback for him is that he's missed at least 2 games each season of his career. But it's nothing major. He's never really had any major injuries, so it's really nothing to be concerned about. But yeah, the New York Jets definitely need to at least sign one of these guys in free agency. And then we need to draft a player. So who are some guys the New York Jets could draft? Kyle Hamilton from Notre Dame. You knew I was going to talk about him. He is one of the best safeties to enter the NFL in a very long time. It's playing on your screen right now. That interception he had against Florida State in their season opener, where he ran all the way across the field, is so impressive. I mean, he's the definition of a playmaker. He's going to be one of the best safeties in the NFL for a very long time. But if the New York Jets don't want to take a safety with the 4th overall pick, we could draft a guy in the 2nd. Daxton Hill from Michigan is another name I really like. He can play pretty much every single position on defense. He can be a cornerback, he can play both safety positions, and he can also be a linebacker in some situations if you want him to be. Now, he's not exactly a ball hawk. type of safety, and if the New York Jets wanted more of a ball hawk, then we should go another way. But I mean, Daxton now, he's versatile and is pretty solid in coverage. Then we have Lewis Cine from Georgia. He was one of the main reasons they won the national championship this season. Cine, he's not exactly the best safety in the coverage game, but he's not afraid to make the tackles. He's a hard hitter, and he makes a lot of good stops in the run game. He reminds me of what Keanu O'Neal was in his prime, and I do think he could be what Keanu O'Neal was, just better. And then you have Jaquan Brisker from Penn State, who's not the playmaker Kyle Hamilton is. He's not as versatile as Daxton Hill, and he doesn't make the tackles like Lewis Cine. But he can do all of that. Pretty solid. He has 5 interceptions in his career, which is 2 less than Kyle Hamilton. He can play both safety positions. I mean, ideally, I think he's going to be a free safety in the NFL, but if a team wants him to be a strong safety, then I do think he can play that position pretty solid, and he had 6 tackles for loss this year, and he can stop the run if you need him to. I mean, he's a pretty well-rounded safety, and I do think he's going to be pretty good in the NFL. Well, that's all the safeties I think the New York Jets could possibly add this off-season. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by hitting the subscribe and like button. Check me out on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Jude_Jets for more content, and you can comment down below how you would address the safety position. And I'm your host, Jude, signing off for now. See you guys later. Peace!